Welcome to the Morning English Podcast. Listen, learn, and speak English daily.
Hello, English learners, and welcome to our podcast. My name is Emma, and we are so happy that you are here with us today.
And I'm Mark. Yes, welcome everyone. It's wonderful to have you here with us today.
We really, truly mean that. Like, when you think about it, time is basically the most valuable thing we have, right?
Absolutely. The most valuable.
Yeah. And out of all the activities you could be doing right now in your busy life, you made the choice to be here with us, working on yourself and, your language skills.
Which is amazing.
It is. You might be driving your car on your way to work right now, or maybe you are cooking dinner for your family.
Or perhaps you're just taking a quiet walk outside with your headphones on.
Right, exactly. So whatever you are, we're just so glad you decided to spend this time with us. Please, just imagine that you are sitting right here at the wooden table with us in our studio.
Yeah, pull up a chair.
You are our third friend in this conversation, and we love having you here.
That is exactly right. We really want you to feel completely comfortable. I want to remind you, especially if you're feeling a little nervous or maybe overwhelmed about your English progress today, that this is a safe, relaxed place to learn.
Completely safe. No stress at all.
Right. We are here to explore real, everyday English, the kind of English adults actually use in their daily lives. There's absolutely no pressure here.
None. There are no tests, and no one is going to grade your grammar.
Thank goodness for that.
I know, right? So if you do not understand every single word we say, please know that is 100% okay.
Totally fine. Just listen to the rhythm of the language, let the context help you, relax your shoulders a bit, and just enjoy the time we're spending together.
Yes, learning should feel good. And speaking of feeling good, it is just a beautiful day today.
It really is gorgeous outside.
Yeah, I'm looking out the large window of our studio right now, and the weather is honestly perfect. The sun is shining, the sky is this, very crisp, bright blue without a single cloud.
Not one cloud in the sky.
Right, and it just creates this feeling of calm and clarity. Plus, I have a perfectly warm cup of dark roast coffee right here in my hands, which always helps my brain wake up.
Oh, that sounds so lovely. I have my favorite cup of chamomile tea sitting right next to me, just lightly steaming.
Oh, chamomile is so relaxing.
It really is. The warm tea and the bright sunshine outside, it really creates a cozy, comfortable atmosphere for us to chat about some meaningful ideas.
It really does.
So, how is your morning going so far, by the way? Have you had a good start to your day?
I actually had a surprisingly wonderful morning. It is a very small thing, but I want to share a little story with you and our listener.
Oh, please do. I love your stories.
Well, you know that I love to try cooking new things. I love chopping vegetables and making soups, but baking in the oven, that is usually a complete disaster for me.
Oh, baking is tough. It's basically science.
It is. It requires so much precision, and I usually end up burning the food. Usually if I try to bake cookies, they turn out black on the bottom and just hard as a rock.
Oh, no, not the burnt cookies.
Yeah, it's bad. But this morning, I decided to be brave. I woke up early, and I found a new recipe for blueberry lemon muffins.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Blueberry lemon.
Right. And this time, I promised myself I would follow every single step very carefully. I measured the flour exactly. I didn't just guess. I actually used the measuring cups.
Look at you following the rules.
I know. I gently folded in the fresh blueberries so they wouldn't break, and I watched the oven timer like a hawk. And they did not burn.
No way. That's fantastic.
They came out perfectly golden brown on top, soft and warm on the inside. My whole kitchen smells like warm blueberries, lemon zest, and sugar right now. I was honestly so proud of myself for getting it right.
I love that story. That is a wonderful accomplishment, and honestly, it sounds delicious.
Thank you. I might bring you one tomorrow.
Oh, please do. I know exactly how frustrating it can be when you try to bake and you put in all that effort and it just does not work out.
Yep.
It can make you want to give up completely.
It really can. You just want to throw the pan in the trash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you didn't. You put in the focused effort, you followed the instructions carefully, and you succeeded. I have to say, there is really no better feeling than that, is there?
No, there really isn't.
Like when you set out to do something, even a small, everyday task like baking muffins, and you actually accomplish it, it brings such a deep feeling of satisfaction and confidence.
It really does. It sounds silly, but it completely changed my mood for the rest of the day. Achieving that one tiny thing early in the morning gave me this, little burst of energy.
Which is the best way to start a day.
Yeah, it made me feel like I am ready to take on the whole world today.
You know, what you just described connects perfectly to what we are going to explore in our conversation today.
Oh, you're right. It totally does.
Because baking those delicious blueberry muffins without burning them, that was a small goal that you set for yourself. You made a plan, you executed it, and because you achieved it, your brain rewarded you with a great feeling. Which brings us exactly to the core of today's theme.
Yes, I am so excited to announce today's deep dive. Today, we are talking all about our life goals, dreams, and future plans in English.
Such an important topic.
It is. We are going to explore exactly how to talk about the things we want to achieve in our lives, from the very small daily tasks to the massive, life-changing ambitions.
It is a fantastic topic, and it is just so useful for anyone learning a language. For you listening right now, you are going to learn some very simple, highly natural vocabulary so that you can confidently talk about your own ambitions with native speakers.
Exactly. We want you to feel confident.
Right. We will teach you how to express your short-term goals, the things you want to do soon, and your long-term goals, the big things you want for your distant future.
We are also going to practice how to answer the most common questions people ask about the future.
Yeah, whether you are in a high-pressure job interview or just chatting with a new friend at a cafe. By the end of our time together, you will have the exact words and sentence structures you need to explain your vision for your life.
You are going to do so well with this material. But before we jump into our deep dive, I want to politely ask you to take just 1 second to like this video or audio stream, subscribe to our show, and please share this conversation with at least one friend who is also learning English.
Yes, please.
Because learning a language is so much more fun and effective when you have a community and when you can practice these concepts with a friend.
Thank you so much for doing that. Your support means the world to us. Okay, let's kick things off with a very fun, curiosity-driven question.
I am ready.
I want you to think all the way back to when you were young. When you were a little child, what was your absolute biggest, craziest dream for your future?
Oh, wow. That is a great question. My biggest, craziest dream when I was a child, well, I wanted to be an astronaut.
An astronaut.
Yeah, I think a lot of children do, right? I grew up reading all these library books about the solar system, and I used to look up at the stars at night and imagine flying in a shiny silver rocket ship all the way to the moon.
That is such a cool visual.
I used to draw endless pictures of myself wearing a big, heavy white spacesuit with an American flag on the shoulder. To me, it wasn't just a fantasy. I thought it was completely possible.
You were serious about it.
I was. I fully planned to live on a space station floating above the Earth. I didn't think about the physics or the years of training. I just had the pure vision.
Just floating in zero gravity. I love that.
Yeah. What about you? What was your crazy childhood dream?
Well, it was a little different from going to space. I dreamed of being a professional stage magician.
A magician? No way.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to wear a tall black silk hat and a long velvet cape and stand on a huge stage in a beautiful theater in front of thousands of people.
That is amazing.
I wanted to be the guy pulling white rabbits out of his hat and making large objects completely disappear. I was obsessed with it. I actually practiced the simple card tricks for hours and hours in my bedroom.
Really? Just practicing all day?
Yep, standing in front of my mirror trying to get my hands to move fast enough to trick my own eyes.
That is so cute. I can totally picture you with a deck of cards and a little cape.
It was a very serious business for me back then.
You know, looking back at those childhood ideas is the absolute perfect way to begin our discussion today. Because when we are children, we just want things.
Right, we don't worry about the how.
Exactly. We don't worry about how to get them. But as adults, before we can really talk about building our future, we need to clearly understand the words we use to describe it. Language shapes how we think.
It absolutely does.
And in English, we have a few core words that seem very similar, but they actually have incredibly important differences in meaning and feeling.
That is so true. The words we choose signal to the listener how serious we are. So for our listener, the 4 foundational words we're going to unpack right now are dream, hope, goal, and plan.
Dream, hope, goal, and plan.
Right. These 4 words are the essential building blocks for communicating your future. Let's start with the word dream. A dream in this context is often a big, beautiful, sweeping imagination of the future.
Like going to space or being a magician.
Exactly. It is something you desire deeply, like traveling the world or writing a novel. It is a vision that lives mostly in your mind and your heart.
A dream is a vision. It is the destination, but without the map. When you tell someone your dream, you are sharing a piece of your soul, really. You are sharing what inspires you. But dreams don't always have a deadline.
That's a great point. No deadline on a dream.
Right. Now let's contrast that with the word hope. A hope is a strong wish for something good to happen, but it usually involves things that are slightly out of your control.
Out of your control. Okay, give me an example of that.
We use hope for everyday things as well as big things. I can say, I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow, or I hope you feel better soon. It is a positive emotional wish for the future.
That distinction regarding control is fascinating, and it is a great way to separate them. Let's provide some adult, real-world examples for our listener. Let's say you are talking to a colleague at work.
Okay, setting the scene.
You might say, my dream is to one day live in a small house near the ocean. That is a big, beautiful vision of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't say, my dream is that my train arrives on time today.
No, that sounds so strange in English. People would look at you funny.
They really would.
Uh.
Instead, you say, I hope my train arrives on time today. You want a good outcome, but you cannot control the train schedule.
Right. You hope for the train because the train is operated by someone else. You dream of the ocean house because that is a reflection of your deepest desires. So we have our abstract visions, which are dreams, and our positive wishes, which are hopes.
Okay, now let's bring it down to earth and talk about the word goal. G-O-A-L. Goal.
A goal is fundamentally different from a dream or a hope. Why? Because a goal requires action and it usually has a deadline. A goal is something you actively, physically, or mentally work to achieve.
It is not just a wish floating in the air.
Exactly. It is a solid target.
It is a target you can hit or miss. And to reach that target, you need our fourth word, a plan. A plan is the map.
The map, right.
It is the specific, organized steps you are going to take to reach your goal. If the goal is the destination, the plan is the exact route you type into your GPS to get there.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit because I want to push back on this idea just to make sure it is completely clear for anyone listening who might be confused. Aren't a dream and a goal basically the same thing in real life?
I can see why people think that.
Right, like if someone says, my dream is to speak fluent English, and another person says, my goal is to speak fluent English, what is the actual practical difference between those two people?
That is a brilliant question, and the difference is entirely in their mindset and their actions. Here is an analogy to help visualize it. Imagine you are thinking about a house.
Okay, thinking about a house.
A dream is like flipping through an architecture magazine and looking at a glossy photograph of a gorgeous, expensive house. You look at it, you sigh, and you say, wow, I would love to live there someday. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, you just kind of admire it.
Exactly. It is wonderful. It makes you feel good, but you were just looking at a picture. You are a passive observer of your own desire.
Okay, I can picture that perfectly. I am sitting on the couch, holding the magazine, admiring the beautiful house. That is the dream. It is safe, and it requires no effort.
Right. Now, a goal is when you put the magazine down. You stand up, you put on a pair of heavy leatherwork boots, you grab a hammer and a saw, and you actually walk out to an empty piece of land and start building the house yourself.
Oh, wow. That's a big shift.
It is. You are taking physical action. You are putting in the sweat, the hard work, the early mornings, and the late nights. You transition from a passive observer to an active builder.
I love that. And where does the plan fit into this?
The plan is the architectural blueprint. It is the rolled up piece of paper with all the measurements. If you just start hitting wood with a hammer, the house will fall down.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
The blueprint, the plan tells you exactly where to pour the concrete, where to put the walls, and where to install the doors so the house is strong and stable.
Oh, that analogy completely clarifies things. Let me summarize that because it is so helpful for language learners. The dream is the beautiful picture in the magazine. The goal is the decision to put on your boots and actually build it. And the plan is the blueprint you follow so you don't make a mess.
You nailed it. That takes the difference between the words so clear.
I am so glad that helps. Now, let's ask our listener to join in. I want you, listening right now, whether you are in your kitchen or on the bus, to pause for just a moment and think about your own life. Apply this to yourself.
Think about your own life right now.
What is one dream you have? Something big and beautiful that you haven't really started working on yet? And what is one goal you have? Something you are actively sweating and working for right now?
We'll give you a second to think.
Just a few seconds to think. One dream, one goal. Did you find them? Can you feel the difference in your body when you think about them?
There really is a physical feeling to it.
Yeah, the dream probably feels light, airy, and maybe a little romantic. But the goal feels solid. It feels like responsibility. It feels like work.
Great job thinking through that. Now, let's practice putting this vocabulary into action. Let's do a conversational example so our listener can hear how these words flow together in real life.
Sounds good. Why don't you share a real dream you currently have, and I will try to help you turn it into a goal with a solid plan.
I would love to do that. Okay, here's a genuine dream of mine. My dream is to play the acoustic guitar beautifully.
Oh, the guitar. That's awesome.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of folk music and acoustic guitar music, and I just have this vision of myself sitting by a campfire on a cool autumn evening, playing beautiful songs for my friends and family. But right now, to be completely honest, it is just a dream.
Why is it just a dream?
Well, I do not even own a guitar, and I don't know how to read music.
Okay, that is a beautiful dream. The mental picture of the campfire, the music, the friends, it is lovely. But right now, you are just looking at the magazine. You're sitting on the couch. We need to put on our work boots.
Okay, lace up the boots. I'm ready.
We need to turn this abstract dream into a concrete goal. So instead of saying, I want to play beautifully, which is too vague, your new goal is, I will learn to play 3 specific songs on the guitar by the end of the year. Notice how the goal is measurable. Not just play beautifully, but play 3 basic songs.
Ah, I see the shift there. The goal is clear, specific, and it has a boundary. I will learn to play 3 basic songs on the guitar. That feels very different. It no longer feels like a fantasy. It feels like a target I can actually hit if I try.
Exactly. But a goal is nothing without a plan. We need the blueprint, otherwise you will just stare at a guitar and get frustrated.
Right, staring won't learn the chords.
So what is our plan? Step 1. This weekend, you will drive to the local music store and buy a beginner guitar. Step 2. You will find 1 beginner video lesson on the internet and watch it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Step 3. You will practice holding the guitar and making chords for just 10 minutes every single day before bed. That is your plan.
That is fantastic. Let's analyze the vocabulary we just used for our listener. Dream, playing by the campfire. Goal, learning 3 specific songs by December. Plan, buying the instrument and practicing 10 minutes a day.
Yes. Perfect breakdown.
By using these words correctly in English, you tell people exactly how serious you are about your future. You move from wishing to doing.
Let's quickly focus on the pronunciation of these words, because pronouncing them confidently is a big part of sounding natural. Let's start with goal. This word can be tricky for some learners.
It can be. It's a fun word to say, though.
Listen to the sound in the middle. It is a long O sound, but it glides into the L. Ooh. Ooh. Your mouth should make a round circle for the O, and then your tongue touches the roof of your mouth for the L. Can you try saying it with me out loud?
Goal.
Goal. Excellent. Now let's try the word dream. It starts with a strong D and R consonant cluster. Dr. It almost sounds like a soft J sound at the very beginning. Dr.
Yeah, like dream almost.
Exactly. And then a long E sound, like you're smiling. Dr. Dream. Say it out loud right now wherever you are. Dream.
Great job. The more you practice the physical movements of these words in your mouth, the more natural they will feel when you are in a real conversation.
Absolutely. Muscle memory is everything.
So now that we have these tools, these building blocks of dreams, goals, and plans, we have to think about when we actually use them. Because saying you want something is one thing, but deciding when it happens completely changes the grammar and the context we use.
It changes everything about the sentence.
It does. Which brings us perfectly into the next phase of our discussion. Time travel in English. Time travel. I like that phrasing. When we talk about the future, our minds are basically time traveling forward, trying to predict who we will be.
Right.
And to help our listeners structure their English sentences perfectly, we need to categorize our goals based on time. In English, we use 2 very common, very important compound adjectives for this: short-term and long-term.
Let's break those down, because you will hear these words everywhere. In business, in fitness, in language learning. First, short-term goals. Short-term means the near future. It means soon.
Like today or tomorrow.
Exactly. A short-term goal is something you want to achieve today, or maybe later this week, or sometime this month. It is not years away. It is right in front of now.
Exactly. From a psychological perspective, short-term goals are incredibly important because they give our brains a hit of dopamine.
Oh, dopamine. Let's explain that word.
Dopamine is that chemical in your brain that makes you feel happy and motivated. When you check a small item off your list, your brain releases dopamine, which gives you the energy to keep going.
It's the best feeling. Can you give us an example of a short-term goal for an English learner?
Absolutely. A great example of a short-term goal is, my goal for this week is to learn 10 new English vocabulary words. It is short, It is small, and you can finish it in just 7 days.
I love that one.
Or maybe, my short-term goal is to finish reading one chapter of my English book by Friday night. These are manageable. They don't overwhelm you.
Those are excellent examples. Now let's contrast that with long-term goals. Long-term looks far, far away into the distance. We are talking about years from now. 1 year, 5 years, or even 10 years away.
A completely different horizon.
Right. A long-term goal is a major life achievement. It is the culmination of hundreds of short-term goals.
For example, you might say, my long-term goal is to build a better career in the next 5 years. Or, my long-term goal is to save enough money to buy a house for my family. Those things take a massive amount of time, patience, and sustained work. They are long-term.
Now, when you are talking about these timeframes, there is a very simple, elegant sentence template you can use. A template is like a pattern you can copy and use over and over again with different words.
And templates are so helpful when you're learning.
They really are. The phrase is, in the future, I want to. Listen to how smooth and natural that is. In the future, I want to.
It is so versatile.
Yeah.
In the future, I want to start my own graphic design business. In the future, I want to travel to Japan and see the cherry blossoms. It works for almost any long-term goal.
It really does. You know, thinking about the relationship between short-term and long-term goals reminds me of a very personal story about running.
Oh, really? I didn't know you were a runner. That's fascinating. Tell me more about that.
Well, I am a runner now, but a few years ago, I was definitely not. I was spending way too much time sitting at a desk, and I wanted to get healthy. My big long-term dream was to run a full marathon.
A full marathon. That is massive.
Now, for our listener, a marathon is 26.2 miles, or about 42 kilometers. It is a huge, punishing distance. But when I started, I did not even own proper running shoes. I just had these old, flat, worn-out canvas sneakers sitting in the back of my closet.
I don't know. Running a marathon or even just jogging in old canvas sneakers sounds incredibly painful. That is a recipe for disaster.
It was terrible. But here is the psychological trap I fell into. Because my long-term goal was so big, 42 kilometers, I thought I had to start big.
Right. You think you have to do it all at once.
Exactly. If I had tried to run even 5 miles on my first day, I would have failed immediately. My body wasn't ready, my lungs weren't ready, and most importantly, my mind wasn't ready. The long-term goal was actually intimidating me.
It was too much, too soon.
So I realized I had to break it down. I had to create a micro short-term goal. My very first short-term goal was just to put on my shoes, step outside, and run for 1 single mile without stopping to walk. Just 1 mile.
That is a classic pivot.
Yeah.
You brought the horizon closer. And how did that first single mile feel?
It was incredibly difficult. Even though it was short, my lungs were burning, my legs felt like heavy lead, and my brain was screaming at me to give up and go back inside to the couch.
Oh, the couch is always calling.
It is, but I pushed through the discomfort, and I achieved that short-term goal. I ran the whole mile. And here's the magic part, going back to what you said about dopamine.
Right, the brain chemical.
Because I achieved that small, painful goal, I felt this rush of pride. It gave me the confidence to set a new one. My next short-term goal was to run a 5K, which is about 3 miles. Then, a few months later, a 10K. Then, a half marathon.
I see the pattern here perfectly. The short-term goals were acting like stepping stones across a wide river. Each small victory pushed you forward to the next rock.
Exactly. It took me almost 2 full years of consistent effort, but eventually all of those small short-term goals added up. And one cool morning in October, I crossed the finish line of a full marathon.
Wow. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. My massive long-term goal became a reality, but only because I started with a very small, manageable, short-term goal. Small goals feed into big ones. They are the fuel. They give you the energy and the psychological momentum to keep going when things get hard.
What a fantastic, inspiring story. That
Yeah.
is so encouraging to hear. And the beautiful thing is, it applies perfectly to learning English, too.
Oh, it really does.
A lot of learners get frustrated because their long-term goal is to speak English completely fluently, like a native speaker, with no accent and perfect grammar. That is a marathon.
It is absolutely a marathon.
But today, your short-term goal is just to listen to this deep dive, understand a few new concepts, and practice saying a couple of vocabulary words out loud. Both the big vision and the small steps are crucial.
I love how you connected that back to language learning. That is exactly right. Now, we want our listener to try speaking. It is your turn to practice. Wherever you are, I want you to say this out loud to get your mouth used to the English phrasing.
Use your voice.
We are going to use the templates. I will say the first part, and I want you to finish the sentence with your own personal idea. Ready? Say it with us. My short-term goal is,
We'll give you a moment. Go ahead.
great job. Keep it simple and natural. Let's try the second one. Speak with confidence. My long-term goal is,
Awesome. Just say whatever comes to mind.
wonderful. Just by saying those words out loud, you are practicing excellent English communication. You are bringing your internal thoughts out into the physical world.
So we have covered the foundational vocabulary, and we have explored the timeline of short-term versus long-term goals. Now it is time to take these tools and apply them to real-life situations. We are moving into the most practical part of our discussion today, the big questions. We are going to focus on how to talk about career and personal improvement.
This is where it gets really practical and highly useful, because knowing the vocabulary in your head is great, but you need to know how to deploy those words when someone actually puts you on the spot and asks you a direct question.
Exactly. When the pressure is on.
Right. There are two very common situations where you will need to talk about your goals in English. The first is in a formal professional setting, like a high-pressure job interview. The second is in a casual, personal conversation, like when you are making a new friend at a dinner party and they want to know more about who you are.
The tone and the vocabulary shift slightly depending on the situation. Let's start with some core vocabulary for professional situations. In interviews, you will frequently hear the words improve, achieve, and success.
Very important words. Let's define them simply.
Sure, improve means to make something better over time. Achieve means to successfully finish a goal after putting in hard work. And success is the positive result, the status, or the good feeling when you reach your goal.
Let's look at the big questions people will ask you using these concepts. If you are sitting in a job interview wearing your best clothes, feeling a little nervous, the manager might look across the desk, fold their hands, and ask, "What are your life goals?" Or, "Where do you want to be in the future?"
Oh, those questions can feel absolutely terrifying, especially in a second language. Your mind might just go completely blank.
It's the deer in the headlights feeling.
But here's the secret. You do not need a complicated 20-minute, highly philosophical answer. Simple, natural, direct English is always the best choice in an interview. A great professional template to memorize is, I want to build a better career.
Such a good phrase.
Let's say that again slowly. I want to build a better career. It sounds polite, it shows ambition, and it is very natural.
I want to pause on the word build there because it is so interesting. We say build a career, not make a career or do a career. Why do we use the word build? It goes right back to your house analogy from earlier.
Oh, you're right.
In English, we often treat abstract concepts like a career as if they are physical objects. We use the word build because a good career requires a solid foundation, raw materials like education and skills, and years of hard labor.
That is a wonderful insight into how English operates. You are constructing your professional life brick by brick. Now, what if you are not in a job interview? What if someone asks you in a friendly, casual conversation, what do you want to do in the future? You can say something much more personal.
Like what?
You could say, my goal is to improve my English so I can travel. It is honest, direct, and relatable.
Now, I want to highlight a really beautiful English phrase that we uncovered in our research for this topic. When you are explaining how you will reach your goal, whether in an interview or with a friend, you can use this phrase. I'm working step by step toward my dream. Step by step.
Step by step. That is a classic idiom. Let's visualize that idiom for our listener to explain why it is so powerful. Imagine you are standing on the ground floor of a very tall building, looking up at a massive staircase.
Okay, I see the staircase.
Your ultimate goal is all the way at the top floor. If you try to jump from the bottom all the way to the top in one massive leap, what is going to happen? You will fail. You will fall back down, you might get hurt, and you certainly will not reach the top.
Right. It is physically impossible to jump that high. Instead, you must put one foot on the first stair, then shift your weight and put the next foot on the second stair.
You are moving step by step. When you use this idiom in English, it means you are not rushing carelessly. You are taking small, steady, consistent actions. It shows the listener that you are mature, patient, and hardworking.
I'm working step by step toward my dream. It is a phrase that native speakers use constantly, and if you use it, you will sound incredibly fluent and grounded.
It is a great phrase that prevents burnout. Now, let's look at another very common follow-up question. Sometimes, after you tell someone your goal, they will lean in and ask, why is this goal important to you?
Ah, the why question.
They don't just want the facts anymore. They want to know your motivation. They want to know the why that lives inside your heart.
This is where you have permission to show some passion. And again, you can use very simple, everyday vocabulary to express deep, complex feelings. You don't need a dictionary of advanced adjectives. You can simply start your answer with the word because.
Because.
Yeah.
So simple.
For example, if the manager asks, "Why do you want to build a better career?" you can answer, "Because I want to provide a good life for my family." That is a powerful, emotionally clear, and perfectly natural English sentence.
Or you could say, because I want to challenge myself to learn new things. Or even simply, because it makes me happy. You do not need big, fancy academic words to explain your human feelings. In fact, simple words are often the most honest and carry the most emotional weight.
I completely agree. But talking about careers and success raises a really important philosophical question for me. I want to challenge the standard idea of goals for a minute.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
We live in a society that is obsessed with productivity. Sometimes people call it hustle culture. What if someone listening right now does not have a massive career goal? What if someone does not want to be the boss or start a huge tech company or run a punishing marathon? Is it acceptable if your life goal is just to be happy and have a quiet, normal life?
That is a profoundly wonderful question, and the answer is absolutely, unequivocally yes. This is so important to understand, especially when navigating a new language and culture.
I think a lot of people feel pressure to always have a big, impressive answer ready.
They do. But the definition of success changes depending on who you ask. For one person, success is being the CEO of a company and working 80 hours a week. But for another person, success is clocking out at 5 p.m., having a small garden, reading good books, and spending uninterrupted time with their children. Both paths are completely valid. Both are real, respectable goals.
I love that perspective. So how would someone clearly express that desire for a quieter life in English without sounding like they lack ambition?
If your goal is a quiet life, you can use this beautiful phrase, "My goal is to live a peaceful life." Let's repeat that. My goal is to live a peaceful life. It is a dignified goal to have, and expressing it clearly in English shows great maturity and self-awareness. You are defining success on your own terms.
You might also say, "I want to focus on my family," or "My goal is to find a good work-life balance."
Yes, work-life balance is a huge buzzword right now, and very useful.
My goal is to live a peaceful life. I think many people listening right now, dealing with the stress of modern life, might relate to that deeply. Okay, let's practice putting all of these questions and answers together so our listener can hear the flow of a real conversation.
Sounds good. Let's do a role play.
If I were sitting across from you right now, and I was a hiring manager, and I asked you, what are your life goals? How would you answer naturally?
Okay, manager tone. I would say, well, my short-term goal is to improve my professional skills and learn everything I can about this industry. But my long-term goal is to build a better career here and eventually lead a team.
That is a great answer. And if I followed up and asked, why is this goal important to you?
I would reply, it is important to me because I want to challenge myself to grow, and ultimately because I want to provide a stable, good life for my family. I know it will take time, but I'm working step by step toward my dream.
Excellent. Let's break down why that sounded so good for our listener. Did you notice how calm and structured the answers were? By clearly separating the short-term goal from the long-term goal, my interviewee showed me that his thoughts are organized.
And when you ask the why question, I use the word because to directly explain my motivation. Because I want to challenge myself. And I ended with that fantastic idiom. I am working step by step toward my dream. If you use these phrases, you sound composed, thoughtful, and highly capable.
Now let's contrast that. If we were just two friends having coffee and I asked you, do you have any big plans for the future? Your answer would sound very different, wouldn't it?
Exactly. I wouldn't talk about industry skills. I would lean back, take a sip of coffee, and say, I have thought about it a lot lately, and my main goal is just to live a peaceful life. I want a job that I enjoy, but mostly I just want to have time to travel a little bit and be with my friends.
And as your friend, I wouldn't evaluate you like a manager. I would react with warmth. I would say something like, that sounds really wonderful. I love that for you. Which perfectly transitions us into our next and final major topic. Because communication is always a two-way street. It is a dance between two people.
It absolutely is. We spend so much time in language learning, figuring out how to speak, how to conjugate verbs, and how to share our own thoughts. But listening and knowing how to react to what you hear is just as important.
It's half the conversation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Since you, our listener, now know how to share your goals, you also must learn how to respond correctly when a friend is brave enough to share their goals with you. This is about being a supportive conversational partner.
When someone shares a dream with you, they are being vulnerable. You need to know how to react in English to show them that you care and that you are actively listening. The most common, universally polite reaction phrase is, "That's a great goal." Let's look at the words, "That is a great goal."
But here is the critical part. The words alone are not enough. If you just read the words like a robot, the meaning is lost. This is where emotion and intonation are so incredibly important.
Intonation, yeah.
Intonation is the music of your voice, how the pitch goes up and down when you speak. In English, we rely heavily on pitch to convey our true feelings.
Let me give you an example of bad intonation. If a friend comes to me and says, "I want to start my own bakery," and I reply in a flat, monotone, boring voice, that is a great goal. How does that make the other person feel?
It feels terrible. It completely kills the conversation. It sounds like you're being sarcastic or that you do not care at all. The pitch of your voice contradicts the positive words you're saying.
Exactly. The emotion is missing. When you use this phrase, you need to show genuine excitement and warmth. You need to put energy and a higher pitch into the word great. Listen to the difference. That's a great goal. Can you hear how my voice goes up on the word great? It shows enthusiasm. It shows I am engaged.
That's a great goal. Yes, the energy makes all the difference in the world. Let's introduce another fantastic reaction phrase that is slightly more formal. You can say, "I wish you success." This is a very kind, elegant thing to say.
Very elegant.
It means you are putting positive energy out into the world, hoping for the best possible outcome for them.
I wish you success is wonderful, especially with colleagues or people you are just getting to know. But if you are talking to a very close friend, you might use some everyday, highly casual variations. You can say, "You can do it." It is short, punchy, energetic, and very supportive. You can do it.
Another really powerful emotional phrase to use with close friends, partners, or family members is, "I believe in you." That phrase carries so much weight.
It really does.
When you look someone in the eye and tell them, "I believe in you," you are saying that you trust their abilities, you see their potential, and you know they are strong enough to reach their goal even when they doubt themselves. It is one of the kindest, most profound things you can say to another human being in English.
I believe in you. Just hearing you say that phrase as an example makes me feel a little more confident. It is amazing what language can do. Let's do a quick example of how these reactions work in a real flow. I'm going to share a goal with you, and I want you to use the target language to encourage me.
I am ready. Let's hear it.
Okay, here goes. My short-term goal for this weekend is to completely clean out my garage. It is a disaster in there. There are boxes everywhere, and I am dreading it. But I really want to get it done.
Wow. Cleaning a whole garage is a big job.
But you know what? That's a great goal. It will feel so good when it is organized. It will be a lot of hard work. But I believe in you. You can do it. Just take it step by step, one box at a time.
Thank you. See, even though cleaning a garage is a mundane, everyday task, your enthusiastic reaction made me feel supported. Using these positive phrases makes the conversation enjoyable and makes people want to keep talking to you. You become a magnet for good conversation. Now, let's involve our listener one more time. We want you to practice being the supportive friend. Emma is, you are going to tell our listener a goal that you have. And when you finish your sentence, I want you, the listener, to say out loud with lots of enthusiasm and good intonation, "That's a great goal." Give it plenty of positive energy.
Okay, here is my goal. Are you ready to respond? My goal for this month is to read a whole book in English from the first page to the last page without translating every word.
Say it now. Use that energy.
Did you say it? Did you say, "That's a great goal"? With a smile on your face and energy in your voice. If you did, thank you. I feel very encouraged by you across the digital distance.
Excellent practice. Getting comfortable with these reaction phrases and truly mastering the joyful intonation will make you someone that native speakers absolutely love talking to, because everyone in the world loves a supportive listener.
We have covered so much incredible ground today, from the foundational differences between a passive dream and an active goal, to understanding the psychology of time travel with short and long-term plans, to navigating the formal language of job interviews and the emotional language of supporting our friends. You have absorbed so much valuable English today.
It really has been a rich, packed session. As we bring our deep dive to a close, let's do a short recap to make sure all these concepts are safely locked into your memory. First, we learned that a dream is the beautiful picture, but a goal requires action, and a plan is the blueprint you follow.
Exactly. We also learned that short-term goals give us dopamine in the near future, and long-term goals are the big destinations years down the road.
And finally, we learned how to communicate our ambitions using simple, clear templates rather than complicated grammar.
Let's also do a quick vocabulary review of the most crucial words we discussed today. I am going to say the word clearly, and I want you to repeat it wherever you are to build that muscle memory. First word, goal.
Try it now. Goal.
Next word, achieve.
Go ahead. Achieve.
Next is our idiom for avoiding burnout. Step by step.
Let's hear it. Step by step.
Next.
Improve.
Say it out loud, improve.
And finally, success.
One last time, success.
And please remember our core sentence structure. My goal is to, you can attach almost any verb to the end of that sentence. My goal is to learn English. My goal is to travel to Spain. My goal is to live a peaceful life. It is one of the most useful templates you can carry with you in your language journey.
Now, before we finish, I want to give you, our listener, a simple but powerful speaking challenge. Tonight, when you are getting ready for bed, I want you to stand in front of your bathroom mirror, look yourself right in the eyes, and say one short-term goal out loud in English, just one single sentence.
Oh, I love that.
It could be as simple as, my goal is to wake up early tomorrow and drink water. Just say it out loud to yourself. Speaking your goals out loud in a new language builds incredible confidence. Please do try that challenge. We really, truly believe in you. I want to offer some heartfelt encouragement right now before we go. Learning a new language, like English, is a massive, beautiful, long-term goal. It is not easy. Some days it feels like a mountain you can never climb, and you might feel like you are still wearing those old canvas sneakers.
Like running a marathon without training.
Right. But remember, you do not have to jump to the top of the mountain in one day. You just have to take it step by step. Listening to this conversation today was a perfect step. You are doing the right things. Keep showing up. Keep practicing every day, even if it is just for 5 minutes while you drink your coffee. Be patient with yourself. We are so immensely proud of the effort you are putting in.
That is absolutely true. Every single small step matters. Now, before we say our final goodbyes, I want to leave you with a deeper philosophical thought to mull over as you go about your day. We talked a lot about setting goals today, making rigid plans, and deciding your future.
We did talk about that a lot.
But remember this. As you grow, learn, and experience the world, your goals might change. The person you are in 5 years might want something completely different than the person you are today. And you know what? Changing your mind is sometimes the greatest step forward you can take. Your goals should serve you. You do not serve your goals. If your dream changes, let it change. That is just a beautiful part of life.
What a beautiful, liberating reminder. It is perfectly okay if the destination changes while you are walking the path. Well, my friend, that is all the time we have for today's conversation. We want to give a huge, joyful thank you to you, our listener, for being such a fantastic third friend at the table with us today. You did an amazing job.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, for practicing your English out loud, for spending your valuable time with us. Keep working step by step towards your dreams, whatever they may be.
Keep smiling, keep practicing, and we will see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, friends. Wishing you success.